Britain's Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, Nadine Dorries, has taken to TikTok. Prepare yourselves.
This is how we're improving online safety. The UK is passing some new legislation to make the internet safer for the younger generation. It's effectively a framework to protect internet users from scams, illegal content and anonymous abusers. It will force big tech to stop their terms being breached and puts in measures to defend free speech. But is it true it will impact freedom of expression? No, we put in legal protections in the 19th section. Another thing we're doing to the laws we're passing is tackling online crime and cyber flashing. If companies fail to comply with the law, fail to protect the users that they're responsible for, the regulator Ofcom will have the power to fine. So platforms must keep people safe online.
That was Nadine Dorries rapping about cyber flashing. Ash, your verdict.
Michael, you're going to hate me, but that was a little bit iconic.
I also think it's the best thing she's ever done. I do think it's the best thing she's ever done.
The thing about Nadine Dorries is that she is deranged. And I think that can, in some ways, speak to the total degradation of our public sphere in a way that's very frightening, but then also can deliver these moments of almost like daytime TV camp glory. And I wouldn't be surprised if I saw someone on UK Drag Race in a couple of seasons, like doing that for Snatch Game. Do you know what I mean? It sort of is in that category for me. On no account, you got to hand it to her, but you kind of got to hand it to her. That was iconic.
I know probably not, because she does have very problematic beliefs. The thing I was tempted to say is if she didn't have any power or influence or get involved in politics, like maybe I'd like her. She seemed like I kind of like wacky people like that. It's not just the policies she's in charge of that make her look bad. It's also the way she tweets, the way she talks about people. In more serious news, let's move on from her TikTok escapades. Nadine Dorries has continued to mislead in her bid to privatise Channel 4. This week, she tweeted this video of her speaking in Parliament.
They want to raise investment. They want to invest in more content. And what we're doing is setting Channel 4 free to be able to do that. Because as state-owned, if Channel 4 does that whilst it's state-owned, it is offset against the public balance sheet. We cannot allow that because governments don't own money. We only have taxpayers' money. And therefore, we have to enable Channel 4 to be able to be set free to raise investment and continue to make the amazing, distinctive British content, edgy, diverse programmes that it does.
Now, the implication from that speech, which disappointingly didn't rhyme, is that Channel 4 are keen to be able to borrow private capital and therefore should be set free. This is what they need, this is what they're asking for. But Channel 4 themselves weren't impressed. So they replied to Dorries' tweet saying, clarification, a proposal was made in response to a request from the Department of Culture, Media and Sport showing how Channel 4 could potentially raise a small amount of outside capital. Channel 4 is in excellent financial health and does not want or need to raise outside capital to fund its future plans. And they share a link to what were their sort of proposals or their suggestions to the Department of Culture, Media and Sport. Had a look through those. As the tweet suggests, they suggested we could get some outside capital. Obviously, the state would have to approve that. At the moment, they're not allowed to. But to get some outside capital, you don't need to privatize them. And also, they're not saying they necessarily need that outside capital. They'd prefer to not be privatized and just, work with what they've got.
The performance that you just saw in Parliament is a reflection of the fact that there isn't actually a strong case for privatising Channel 4. It's in rude financial health. It is fulfilling its remit as a public service broadcaster very well. It's doing what it was meant to do, which is commission UK television from outside of Channel 4 and sustain a wider media ecology. It does all those things pretty well and does so within an otherwise challenging broadcasting environment where you've got fewer and fewer people watching TV, more and more people going online, so on and so forth. Right? It's doing pretty well within that context. The reason why the government want to privatise Channel 4 is simply because Channel 4 News tends to be more critical of the government than other news outlets, and that's all there is to it. It's the same reason why they want to wield the licence fee like the sword of Damocles over the BBC. It's to try and, one, weaken the grip of a public institution over a big chunk of the media market. They want to open that up to their super rich friends and media corporations. And secondly, it also means that you have something to hold over the BBC when you go, hang on, we're not getting the kind of amenable coverage that we would like to get. One of the things that politicians will often say is, well, look, I can name this, this, and this political news story. And, that was very bad for us. But if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, quite frankly, BBC Politics, it runs with whatever's on the front page of the Daily Mail. It isn't particularly sympathetic towards left-wing points of views. And it narrows the lens of what politics is onto Westminster at the expense of talking about issues like, say, industrial disputes or other social and economic issues going up and down the country in a way which benefits establishment interests. And so that's why Nadine Dorries is making so much noise about Channel 4, and she's not particularly concerned with making honest arguments in order to do it. It's because it serves a political purpose. It's not actually something that Channel 4 needs.
Yeah, so all of her speeches defending the privatisation start with Channel 4 is doing great. Channel 4 is a real key to Britain's cultural industries. That's why it needs radical change. Very incoherent. We look forward to her speaking to a select committee again because it's always entertaining. All of us here at Novara Media are working harder than ever to keep scrutinising establishment politicians and the media barons who protect them. We don't have billionaire funders. We don't have advertising partnerships. We're funded entirely by you. If you've ever thought about supporting us, now's the time to go to novaramedia.com/support and donate anything you can from just £1 per month. Defy the corporate media. Join our monthly supporters and help build our supporter base to 10,000 strong.